Hello everyone. A little bit of a different style of video for me, at least lately. It's been a long time since I've just sat and chatted with everyone. I used to actually do videos like this quite frequently, but it's been a hot minute. However, lots of different things going on and a couple things that I wanted to address sort of face to face versus constantly like repeating myself in like emails and messages, because people have reached out to me over like kind of two key things I'm going to address in this video. And while I do it, I'm multitasking. I am just putting my Altenew cardstock packs into folders. I'll post links to that in the description for anyone who's interested. I've got all my Altenew cardstock just propped up in there, and I was keeping it all stored just in the packaging it comes in, but that's getting to be a bit of right there, a bit of an annoyance, and the cardstock is starting to get damaged because of that. So I got their folders. And while I say that, because I know that immediately gets the request for me to do like a craft room tour, I have actually addressed this in other videos. I have no plans of filming one in here. There's just many reasons. Number one reason, I don't have the time. I don't have the time. I've got a lot on my plate, but it's also, there's privacy issues and just so much stuff behind the scenes. So yeah, apologies for that. I do have old craft room tours on my YouTube channel, and not a whole lot has changed. I repurpose the same things, and also I'm a disorganized mess. Really, I am. It just is what it is. And yeah. And then other side note, moving these packages like into the sleeves. This is kind of besides the point, but it's something that has been brought up and mentioned. At least for me, locally, we now have recycling options. One of our local recyclers takes this flimsy plastic type packaging. Game changer. Because now I can recycle this, bubble wrap, Ziploc bags, chip bags, so many things, styrofoam. So many things we can now recycle even more. We already recycle everything possible, but this, and especially like I save a lot of my packaging. I talk about that and I've shown it. I use a lot of it for like flat shaker cards, things like that. Like I repurpose as much as possible, but being able to recycle a ton of it, game changer. Anyway, so there's that and that. So that's what I'm going to do while I talk. For those that might not be aware, I'm Canadian. I live in Saskatchewan, in the Great White North. If for some reason really crazy noises get picked up, usually my microphone doesn't pick up the outside noises, but our local area is like scraping the snow off the streets because, again, I'm in Saskatchewan. It's still winter here. Everything's a mess, and there's just been a lot of equipment noises all day, which is driving me insane, and it's hard to think straight, but I'm just going to power through it. I can hear the beeping and the scraping, and it's driving me nuts. Anyway, so I'm Canadian. So right now, our current state of affairs is also something I technically do not discuss on my channel. I have a rule for my social media. So my YouTube channel, my website, my Facebook page, the things that I have built over all the years. I do not discuss religion or politics. I have a hard line on that. I keep everything I do because it is crafting, it is my job, etc. But I keep my social media as an escape, so people can just, after you've had a really long day, you can tune into my channel and just enjoy my crafty chaos, maybe learn something new, or just, have fun, whatever, and not be bombarded by that, because politics and religion brings out just so much. That said, and I still remain on that, and I hope and expect everyone to remain respectful in the comments. I don't put up, everyone has a right to their opinion. That's fine. You don't need to platform it on my social media. If you want to put it on your own, go right ahead. I ain't stopping you, but I hope everyone can keep things respectful. So, I am Canadian, and right now there is a lot going on between us and the country to the south, and it is causing a lot of chaos, a lot of turmoil, and who knows what's going to happen. Who knows? It is a lot. It's a lot. And I have had people reach out to me because right now, one thing that a lot of Canadians are doing, not just us, but also our politicians, etc., is boycotting stuff that is made in the US, etc. And I have had people reach out to me directly because of this, because they're like, me as a Canadian, promoting crafty brands that are all in the US. I've got a thought process to all of this. So, in our personal lives, like specifically me, the unpaid intern, our family, our household, we are boycotting. We are using our household dollars, the things we purchase for our house, groceries, etc., which is the bulk of our purchasing power, to buy Canadian or international brands. That is what we're doing, especially like anything like major corporations. Hit them where it hurts. Use your purchasing dollars. Now, when it comes to craft companies, I say this with the caveat and acknowledgement that I am biased, because I do this as a job, and because all the brands and companies I work with or work for at times are all in the US. So that makes me biased immediately, 100%. However, I still think my thought process and stance on this, I think it's correct. Even if I didn't work for these crafty brands or work with them, I still do not think boycotting them is a good idea. Only because I think that all of these crafty brands, these companies, friends of mine in the US, they're small. These are small businesses. Some of these brands that I work with literally run this out of their house. These are not corporations. These are not billionaires and oligarchs and, that kind of a thing. That boycotting these little companies, it hurts them, and the ripple effect just hurts the rest of us. And it's not going to swing that needle where we need to go in terms of like making a difference. That is my legit opinion. And I've had people also ask, well, why don't you support like crafty companies or Canadian crafty companies? One, there's not really that many of them. There's a few, and they're great. But if there's any like actual like brands that make product, the product isn't made in Canada. It's not. All the manufacturing and everything else is, again, it's like in the US or it's in China and international. We are a global economy. We are a global economy, and I really wish that the big orange elephant in the room would acknowledge that and stop these games. Because yeah, it just is. That is how things work. And I have had people argue with me and like, well, this needs to just push, these boycotts need to happen, and we just need to push so that all the manufacturing can shift to the US / North America, et cetera, et cetera. It's not that simple. It is nearly impossible in a lot of ways. Because so many of the things, the cost would skyrocket. And most of these craft brands don't have that kind of money to invest into full-on like manufacturing of the different things. It just, again, we're talking, we are in a niche market. We are a crafting, card making specifically niche. And again, all these businesses are small, and I don't have answers, but I am going to keep doing my job. I am going to keep promoting and supporting my US crafty businesses, which many of them, they might be, well, a lot of them, the funny thing is that they're based in the US, they're sourced globally, and they have people like me Canadians and Europeans and people all over the world that work with them, work for them, help them, support them, promote them. And so many good people, So while I say all that, obviously I cannot tell anyone what to do. I cannot be like, you need to do this, or you shouldn't do that, or you should stop this boycott of crafty business. Individual choice. I am just stating my thoughts on all of this and my plans of action or plans of inaction. And I will also say no one is asking me to film this, say this. I mean, these are all my own thoughts, my opinions, my stance. Because while I, work with and work for different crafty brands, I am still a freelancer. I speak for myself, and nobody tells me what to do, because that's how I've always been. And that's also why I support the brands that continue to work with me, because they put up with me and my big mouth and me doing my own thing. And, but yeah, I can say 100% that no one has asked me to say anything. I'm just kind of addressing because I have been asked multiple times, comments, emails, messages, all the things. And then I'm seeing it on social media, and it's building, and people are stressed and worried and scared, and crafty businesses are stressed and worried and scared. And I thought I would throw my 2 cents in that, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen today. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Things are chaotic. And I think a lot of the ripple effects we're seeing are going to continue and potentially get worse. I really hope not. And I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm stressed. I'm stressed. Things that, as a Canadian, it's been stressful, to say the least, But crafting has always been a source of joy for me. It's been therapy. I know it's like that for a lot of people, hence my stance on not discussing religion or politics, because I want to keep my corner of the interwebs a place of, escape, somewhat relaxation. I don't think I'm that relaxing of a person to listen to, but a place where we can just escape and talk craft and keep it to that. But there's always times where I need to where I feel I need to step up and say something. And I feel like now is one of those times. So yeah, I will not be boycotting, but again, I'm biased, and we will just see what happens with all of this. And I just, at the bare minimum, I think, again, while I cannot tell people what to do or what to say, I do think that going after these crafty people, whether it be a brand owner, content creators that are based in the US, that live in the US, that make content, I do genuinely think that there is no need to announce to them, that you are unsubscribing, that you are no longer going to support. I personally feel like that is completely unnecessary. And in a lot of ways it's mean. But again, I'm not telling people what to do. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just stating my own opinion. I do understand where people are coming from. The frustration and the anger and all of it. I get it. 100%. I am frustrated and I'm angry. But I don't think that going after crafters and crafty brands is going to provide any sort of solution, other than it's causing people to be upset, and it's causing everyone to start jumping at each other's throats, which is what they want. All this infighting and confusion and frustration and anger turned on each other, when we need to turn it towards those at the top, the ones that are actually causing the chaos, the oligarchs and the billionaires. I hope that gets the point across. So, yeah, that's how I feel on that. Again, I've been having to respond to this in my response to people, and just putting it on a video, and I'm going to put this on my YouTube. Like, I stand behind it. I stand behind, again, this is my social media. I can do what I want. I can say what I want, and I am fully aware that there may be consequences for me speaking my mind, and I accept them. And yeah, hopefully I won't have to do any more videos like this. I just thought I needed to make it as obvious as possible, as public as possible. This is where I stand on things. And if anyone has a legitimate, constructive concern, feel free to send me a message. Because yeah, I will be monitoring the comments. I do anyway. I keep a pretty as close of an eye as I possibly can on my comment sections, because I will not tolerate, like I said, arguments involving like religion and politics, but I also do not tolerate like bullying and name calling and anything like that. Like, no, will not. Again, if you want to express those sorts of things, you can do that on your own time in your own spaces. I'm not going to platform that kind of crap. It's not going to be constructive, and we don't need things devolving into cat fights and arguments and potential hatred or anything like that. I don't think that is a good thing. And I am going to play this back to myself and see if I actually even made sense, because sitting here talking to you all right now, I am not sure if any of this made any sense, because I'm just rambling off the top of my head. None of this is scripted. I don't script anything. So, yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day that are watching this. I hope that this does not escalate. Like I said, I hope this does not escalate further. That is not my intention. Like, we don't need this in this industry. Other things are very much out of our control in this life and in this current climate, but in the crafty card making community, we don't need a big, just chaotic upset. I do think some things need to change. I think that more discussions need to be had, and more transparency is always a good thing in my world. And everything I have stated has been my own opinion, like I kept saying, but I want to make that perfectly clear, because when I make my opinions and I say my things, I am not speaking on behalf of anyone, ever. It is me, my channel, myself, my brain, the mess that it is, saying the things. And yeah, nobody asked me. Literally, no. In fact, if anyone had to say, they'd probably be like, please don't. Please just zip it, Amy, you crazy woman yapping in your garage. But sorry, not sorry. Again, this is my channel. I can do what I want. And I just felt the need to say it. And I hope everyone just, I don't know, I hope we can all figure things out and make things better. And that I hope some things are going to change, no matter what. Just the roller coaster ride of life that we are on right now, and all of it, I can't predict any of it. Who knows what's going to happen? But crafting will always be there in some form or another. We as humans like to make things and to do crafty things in whichever way, whichever form, and that is the beauty of it. And I've chosen card making. I love doing it. And I think it will always be here in some form, and I'm still going to keep doing my thing. Who knows? I hope the brands figure some things out. A lot of it is very up in the air in this in this world, and some things may have to change, some things may have to shift, some things may have to just, be dropped to the wayside. Who knows? Who knows? But I think we've got enough wonderful people, wonderful brands, wonderful things going on that it will still continue in a possibly slower pace, an upwards trajectory, and that this will be still an awesome community. And at least on my end of it, everyone's welcome. I've tried to make that very, very clear here that everyone is welcome. While I draw that line with religion and politics, I stand on human rights, and I do not exclude, and I will not tolerate any sort of exclusionist language or behavior, that sort of a thing. And yeah, peace and love. Peace, love, and rainbows, everybody. And that's it from me. I will talk to you all later.